All right, guys. So I'm in my buddy's truck, and these are the codes it's throwing: a P0300 and a P050D Cold Start Rough Idle. If your truck has these codes and it's out of warranty, throwing a check engine light. This is a 2017 with 50,000 miles. Out of warranty. The dealer told them it's gonna cost like $2,000 to $3,000 of repair. They need to replace all 8 high fuel pressure injectors. Not covered under warranty. So my buddy ended up getting all 8 injectors, and we're gonna knock that out for him here in a little bit. But yeah, if you have these codes, this is the fix, and this is how you guys do it. Okay, guys, so these are all tools you're gonna need: a 13mm socket, a 10mm deep socket, 10mm short, 2-inch extension, a 4-inch extension, a ratchet, a fuel 3/8 disconnect, and a 17mm wrench. First, we loosen the air intake and remove both sides of the vacuum lines. Then we can remove it. We can go ahead and remove the 4 10mm bolts to hold the upper intake cover. Now we can go ahead and remove the 10mm bolts to hold the lower intake. Undo the vacuum lines on both sides and disconnect the throttle body and the alternator. And now we should have access to the lower intake, and we can remove it out. Here you gotta be careful because there is one more vacuum line that you have to disconnect on this side right here. So once you disconnect it, you can kind of head and just flip it forward out of your way and grab the lower intake, and with 2 hands hold the upper cover and pull the lower intake out nice and slow, trying not to damage anything. Once out, we can remove the upper intake cover, and it's held in with these 4 clips to the harness. Pull out the little foam cover. Here's a good time to cover up the intake holes either with tape or a rag, whatever is available. We're gonna grab our 17mm wrench and crack open the line nice and slow. Be careful when you crack these lines because it is under a lot of pressure. Once off, we can go ahead and remove them. In this next step, it is very important not to use any electrical tools because there is a lot of fumes in the air. We have to use a 13mm socket to loosen our 4 bolts that hold the fuel rail. Go ahead and blow out all the dirt and debris before you pull the rail out using a pry bar. Pry on the front corner, and then we can pry on the back corner to loosen the back side, and we can pull the rail out. Okay, so GM recommends using a special tool to remove and install these metal clips, but a flat blade screwdriver works just as great. Once you get the clip that holds the injector, you have to pull on the injector pretty hard to remove it out of the rail. The O-rings have swelled up and they're pretty tight, but they will come out. Once you get all 4 out, go ahead and grab some WD-40 and we'll spray the tips and we'll slide them right in, making sure you put them in the same way they came out. Get our new clips, and with 2 hands we just press in evenly and they should slide and clip right in. Do that to the remaining 3. Alright guys, so here I have some of the injectors that I took off, and what GM is saying is that this is going to happen to all the Chevy trucks that have the high fuel pressure injectors, and what they're saying is to help prevent this from happening as often is to use a fuel system cleaner, and the one they recommend using is the BG. I'm going to put in the link description below on the one they recommend you guys getting. But yeah, you add it about every 30,000 miles to your fuel tank. When you fill it up, it'll treat up to about 20 gallons. But like I said, it's the one GM recommends is a BG 44K. I'll put that in the link description below. But yeah, as you can tell, it's contaminating the nozzle tips, and then eventually it's going to give you that rough idle and hesitation. So that's what's causing this truck to hesitate and misfire. Okay, right before we put the new injectors back in place, we want to install the new seals on top, and we're ready to drop the rail back in place and reverse the order. Once the passenger side is done, we can go ahead and move over to the driver's side. The driver's side is going to be identical to the passenger side, except there's going to be an additional step. We are going to have to use a special fuel disconnect tool to remove the fuel pressure line right here, because this line is actually on the top of the fuel rail. So we'll use this fuel disconnect tool, slide it over the rail, and just disconnect the line, pull it off. And then we can go ahead and unbolt the four 13mm bolts like we did on the passenger side. And on the driver's side, we are going to have to remove the main harness off the back side. You don't have to disconnect the injectors on this side. The whole rail will come out together. Once you replace all four injectors, we put the rail back on and we start the reverse order. And don't forget to replace your upper intake gaskets as well. Those will need to be replaced. I will put those in the links in the description below. Once the intake is in, GM recommends tightening down the upper intake in a crisscross pattern and then 2 separate passes shown here.